get any of my intro? Do you want my computer?
No, just
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Here we are with Off the Wall Graffiti, immersed in art. Okay. All right, so welcome. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
This is my good friend. I don't even know what I should call you, Jonathan. I could call you that.
Yeah, but everybody knows me as Espy,
Okay, good.
which is a pseudonym. If you were to pronounce my name correctly, if you read it, it would be Espy.
Which is how I say it all the time.
Most people call me Espy, but the ones that know me call me Espy.
Espy. Polly has corrected me a number of times.
Yeah, it's just an artist thing. It's a pseudonym, you know?
Yeah. Does it mean something?
Espy, yeah, it means to see at a glimpse.
In what?
In the dictionary.
Okay, I'll Google that.
So to e-spied is like basically to like if you're like driving by a road and you see a piece on the top of the rooftop, you have e-spied something like real quick. You can.
I love
you
that.
see that you have. It's an old term that they used to use in the 1800s, and I got it from. It was the last name actually of a Vietnam vet who had died and stuff like that. And I took his name like in 97. I etched his name off of his memorial, and then that was it.
Oh my god! Then you looked it up.
Yes. Then I looked that day. I looked it up, found that I was already
what's
right.
the origin story of the name?
I was writing. Yeah. Well, I was writing graffiti as well for a number of years, like most graffiti writers, and using terrible names. So, like, terrible names. So, this was one that just, like, bam, hit me. You know, we all have a realization at some point where it hits us and we're just like, that's it. And I just saw it, etched it, bam, that was it.
That was it.
It was over. I've been writing it ever since.
Oh, when was that? How old were you?
Like I said, it was in 97,
Oh,
98.
sorry, I didn't do math.
So.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn, you're 12 years old. What?
What? I might
How can
look
you
like
do
it.
anything for 20
like
years?
But I'm 37 now, so.
Okay. So when you were 15.
Yes, when I was like 15 or 16, I had been writing graffiti for like a couple years, just watching what my brother was doing. I found the name and it just stuck. Okay. My brother had a terrible name too. He was like writing shrooms or something.
Oh my god!
But
Does he write still?
My brother is an artist. Has always been. He's the one who had influenced me mainly. But my parents are artistic as well. So I always had that background where it was like supported and stuff like that. But my brother was like a vandal, a skater. He would go out and like write on the school.
Oh gosh.
Shit like that. And his name was terrible. My brother was like the black sheep. So
you were the white sheep.
Yes, totally. I was a good, I learned vicariously.
I was the good vandal.
I wasn't really, I wouldn't say I was really a vandal, I practiced a lot in my backyard and stuff like that, and then underneath bridges where no one really would see them, or in the middle of nowhere, because I come from the suburbs of New Jersey where there really wasn't any graffiti at that time, so it was really frowned upon, and if you painted anywhere, it would buff over, and I truly believe, like I had discussed with Paulie earlier, that, like, you shouldn't put yourself out there until you're something, don't give people an excuse to talk shit about you, basically. You know what I mean? Don't put garbage out there and people won't be able to say, but you were doing this garbage. I don't follow you anymore because that's the garbage you were doing. I don't know what he's doing anymore.
Yeah.
Is he even a writer?
Got it.
So don't put even, so I waited until I at least had some line control, like can control and stuff like that. My letters took 8 years till I had developed my letters. So, very difficult.
All right. So, you're starting to tell us like a little bit about your origin, and this particular podcast, this conversation, this overarching, like what this one is about is for now is stories from the streets. And you said that and the idea of stories from the streets is that anything can be said. I don't care, like, we're not judging, looking.
No, that's cool. I don't care what people think about me anyway. So, so
there might be a story that you have to tell. That
the
was
one story
cool,
that really like strikes, like really sticks out to me was when I was like about 18 or 19 years old in that same town in New Jersey where there wasn't really a lot of graffiti. Like everybody knew that it was us doing graffiti and stuff like that because we were killing stuff. But
what was the town?
It was like Beechwood, New Jersey, or whatever. And like it sounds so beach town, like, right?
Beautiful.
It's not. It's really
like...
not though. It's like a.
And
actually,
did you guys know all the cops? Like, were your
yeah,
uncles
actually,
the cops?
we went to school with them and stuff like that.
Oh my God!
So they were all like.
You mean by the time you were 19?
When we were 19, like they were graduating. Like we were in a small town. The cops, you know the cops. The cops know you.
Right.
It's just a matter of them catching up to you at some point. You know what I mean?
And then they know your parents.
Yeah,
and then they go to church with you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's seriously the way it is, kind of. But in this particular situation, I mean, there's still a lot of people in Toms River where I come from or whatever, like a lot, like 1 million or something like that. Lots of people in that town, so you can easily blend in, but there was really not that much graffiti. So with that said, one night that sticks out is we were going out like pretty late.
And you were with a crew?
I was with one of my crew members and another, like a newbie, you know, somebody that was artistically talented but not up to the adventure.
Okay.
Didn't know what it entailed. So he called all late, like, yo, I want to join you on your adventure because I know you guys are going out and painting tonight. And we're like, yeah, sure. Happy to bring another person and, like, potentially have somebody else, like, be a part of our crew and make it bigger and better, you know? But he doesn't know the elements that he was an artist, fairly decent with cans, but didn't know what entailed with being an artist at that point at stage in the game as far as graffiti writing. So when you start graffiti, a lot of what draws you into it is the adventures, the night, the nightness, like being with your friends, the nostalgic moment. That's really what you remember. You know, the lights, spending time, the bonding that you're not the work that you produce, but so much the adventure, the night out, you know? And with that said, we brought this newbie with us, and we were walking on the sides of the street, and he was like out in the middle of the street, and a cop came around the corner, and bam, he's right in the headlights. And we're on the side of the street.
What was he doing in the middle of the
street?
We
were walking.
Was he like watching for you?
No, we were walking to the spot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And we were like about very, very close to the spot where we had to jump a fence and like or go
get on it.
Yeah, and jump a fence and get into you know, somebody else's property that was private. And he doesn't know anything about the ninja effect that comes with being graffiti. A lot of us embrace that night adventure and we consider it like being what we call ninja. Okay. You know, elusive basically.
Right.
And we're on the side
Turn
of the
to
street.
The side and you disappear.
We're like walking on people's front yards and he's like in the street, like kind of, I believe that he was half intoxicated. Okay. So this is what led him to being like put out in the middle of the situation. The cop comes around the corner, catches him in the headlight like a deer. Doesn't see us. We dip into somebody's driveway and hide behind a van. Oh my God. He runs behind us and then comes up like all loud up behind us. And at that point, the cop came around the corner and was like rolling slow, like trying to look for us, but we're in somebody's driveway. He drops a can, it rolls down the driveway, it rolls right out in front of the cop. He knows where we are. Before I can even do anything, my one homie, Stezo, is over the fence. Into
the backyard.
Into somebody else's yard. And across, he's in somebody else, he's 2 yards away in under 10 seconds. I grab the fence, like about to follow him. All I hear is what sounds like a horse coming to me. Da-dumph, da-dumph, da-dumph. No. Biggest dog, like huge. I don't know how my buddy must have been like Peter Pan or something. This was kind of a running joke that whenever the cops would chase us, my boy would be shoeless.
Right.
He could run quicker without his shoes. So you would see his shoes there and he would be gone.
His mom's like, I just
the cops are always finding these shoes in size in 10 and a half. They're like, we have the shoe. We just don't have the guy. So my friend that I'm talking about, he only lives 4 blocks away on that same street that the guy was originally spotted
Peter
from.
Pan. The newbie.
The newbie that was originally spotted. And my buddy lived on that road. So we went through and we had just dipped around the corner where the cop had parked and went through people's yards. And I went over the yard and just like didn't even think, because I couldn't see anything, and just I don't know how I didn't get bit. It must have been a friendly dog. Because I got right across the yard and left my friend behind, the newbie. You can get caught. I don't care.
Right. You're not going to crush me.
I get over the fence. I'm in somebody else's front yard heading those 3 blocks towards my friend's house. I actually don't know how this happened, but I passed my friend who's shoeless, Stezo, and he's in the opposite side. He's on the opposite side of the street, and I had crossed the street already, and I was on the side of the street where his house was located. I run to his house. There's a driveway on the side of his house, and I jumped into his car.
Oh, no way.
And he comes running behind me. The cops spot him right in the middle of the street. He runs up behind his property, realizes that he just brought the cops to his house.
Oh my God.
And he sits there for maybe a half a second at his fence to his backyard and decides, I can't bring the cops to my house.
Right.
And at that point, I'm in the car and he's right in front of me. And the cops don't know that I'm in the vehicle. And they had pulled their car right behind me. And they're looking at him. He's right in front of me at his fence to his backyard, and then dips around the front of his house and runs about a block away because he realizes he's in front of his house.
Right. Right.
His brother, his mother, his grandmother lives there. His whole family lives there.
Right.
So
like rule number 1, like don't lead the cops to your house.
We just went to this most safe environment. You don't ever expect to be seen. You know?
Okay.
Like, that's part of the game. And that was he just ironically got caught because that one cop had called for backup, you know? And he got seen by another cop. So basically, when he was crossing the street, this is hard to
visualize without hands.
It's like almost like we are in a center position. Uh-huh. And let's say to the left is where the spot is.
Yeah.
And he was seen from the right side of the house. We're in the middle position, and the cop was to the right of the house, so he couldn't see that I was even in the car, and the car light was on. So by the time he caught up with my friend and came around to the back of the car, the light of the car had just came off.
Oh my God.
You know? So what I did was I just stuck my body inside where you put your feet. I just, teenagers' cars,
tiny.
Just covered myself with garbage that was in my buddy's car. No. You know what I mean? I had a huge blunt that was like forged out of like 1,000 different roaches. So it was disgustingly smelly.
On you?
Yeah, on me.
Oh dear.
And all I could hear was cops swarming around the vehicle. Oh my God. You know?
You had to have held your breath.
So, nah. So for 45 minutes, I was just like pissing myself inside the car. And I look, and I can hear cops walking around the vehicle like the whole time. That's for about a half an hour because they left their car behind me while they chased on foot my friend for a half an hour. So they came back to the car.
Did they catch him?
No.
No way.
45 minutes later,
no way.
I get up and I look around and I see some cops walking around foot patrolling with the dog. And I'm like, yo, we are fucked, you know? Right. And then they get out of sight. Car door opens, my buddy jumps in. I'm like, bro. He's like, I've been running for a half an hour.
He knew you were there.
Yeah. He saw me get in the car because he was directly behind me, but he was in the middle of the street by the time I was over by the car.
Oh.
So the cop could only see him, and I was hidden behind the house.
And where's the newbie?
5 minutes later, door opens, the other kid gets in the car. He's like, I've been standing on a fence for a half an hour while cops are walking around me, pissed drunk. And I'm like, dude, this is why this is why you don't.
Street.
So the secret is don't drink when you go out and paint. You know, anybody who goes out and drinks when you're paint. I mean, everybody has their own relationship with art form, but most likely you're going to produce garbage, and you're going to potentially put yourself in line of getting caught, which sucks. You know, fortunately we didn't get caught. My boy lost his shoes like usual. It turned out to be a safe situation and a learning experience. So nobody got caught. We continued to do graffiti around town, and we were never busted, ever.
Oh, you're kidding.
Never, yeah. The cops all eventually, like the people the jocks that were in high school with us knew that we were graffiti writers because we were doing it in high school, and after we graduated and they would like pull us over for tickets and stuff like that, they would know that we were still doing graffiti, and they'd be like, yo, aren't you the one doing that shit? And be like, come on, you're a cop, I'm gonna talk to you, bro, come on. Like, you know, I didn't like you in high school, I don't like you now, you know?
Right.
So so if we do get in trouble in that small ass town, that, you know, they're not like detectives. They can't do anything. If you know your rights, you can just be like, you ain't shit, cops.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
and you learned your rights pretty quick?
You know what? I think that is something, I have learned my rights basically because I do a lot of graffiti, but the nature of my graffiti is like a lot of it is murals and stuff like that. Or the premise of which I take to get my walls, which I don't really share too much with people, but I'll share with you guys.
Okay.
When I originally came to Los Angeles, I didn't have any connections here. People knew me through the internet, but didn't trust me. That's just the LA way. Amongst graph writers, you got no credibility, no one's gonna give you some walls. I don't know what that's all about. People covet their walls, whatever, that's on them. So what I did was target walls that had gang graffiti on it. Mm-hmm. I would do like a bird, a face, some type of scenery first, and then do some graffiti, and sold. Nobody else would say anything to me.
But because by not having permission, you would go
because the owner was getting something for free that he saw was of value, he would let me write my name as big as I want and advertise any way I want, and that's the way I would explain it to them.
But you would ask?
No, he would come up and they would. That's how. Graffiti writers and artists will always realize 9 out of 10 times you approach a store owner, they're gonna shut you down. So why ask for permission? Ask for forgiveness. That's the motto I live by.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's how I was able to obtain most of the walls I have, by proving myself that I can do art that even you can, regular person, that can enjoy. And you should be a little bit lenient on the fact that I want to continue to do the stuff that you might not understand, the graffiti part of what I do, the letters, the colors. Other people who don't understand it might see some value in it, even though they don't understand it if it's done well, you know? But you have to give a little sacrifice, give a little bit of yourself to create those opportunities, you know? And that's, you know, how I got a lot of my walls here in LA. And after I started getting one wall here, the people across the street would see the value in it and be like, yo, paint my shit. And I'm not made out of paint, and they're not trying to give us money. So that's where the donation aspect comes into perspective. At that point, I tell them, you can donate your property and I can have one of my homies come over and paint it, because you don't want to pay for us. That means you ain't going to get what you want, but I guarantee it'll be beautiful and amazing. And you won't have to worry about that acquainted feeling that you get when you walk over to when you come to open up your business and you see that it's smashed with graffiti.
Right.
You know, because a lot of graffiti writers don't know that, you know, a lot of people in Los Angeles have a background in graffiti, like they grew up around it. So they don't hate it. They just hate the fact that you didn't ask their permission to get down.
Right.
So just take the time to get shut down, you know what I mean? And take those risks that are worth taking.
Right.
You know, pick your spots that are going to run. Don't paint on somebody's personal property, you know? Like, target city property that's going to run. Like, that's a lot of thing that, like, artists or young graffiti writers maybe don't realize, because the people that they have in their life don't have a sense of history. That's a lot of what's missing in our culture, is a mentorship where somebody tells you, these are fat cats, these are thins, have all your shit ready, be ready to paint, 16 seconds, 20 seconds, 5 seconds, you know what I mean? 15 minutes, that's what you got, you know? And kids are out there with 3 of their friends in 90-degree weather with hoods, broad daylight, painting with stock caps on the front of people's businesses. And, of course, you're going to get targeted by everybody. Graffiti writers, owners, everybody's going to target you because you're being stupid.
We should, okay, yes. So many thoughts I have about all those things.
And I've been writing for like 20 years, so I've been in and out of like good and bad things, but I've never once been arrested for graffiti. Right. You know?
That's
and
awesome.
a lot of that has to
and
do
knock
with
on all the
so
words.
going back to what you said, a lot of that has to do with knowing your rights. If you know your rights and you start saying stuff like it's, like, your sixth and fifth or your second, your fifth, your fourth, your sixth amendment and stuff like that, just learn that shit, man. Cops will just be like, they'll back off because they think that you could potentially be a problem for them. Because most of the time, cops are taking the initiative to talk to you. They don't know. So most of the time, I lie to the cops.
Okay.
If I don't have, or I used to. Now I have walls for days.
Right.
But I used to, how I obtained the wall was straight up lie to them. It's all about conviction. I say the owner, the manager, just like this. I don't know, the owner, the manager, whoever manages and owns this property gave me permission to paint. No one called you, right? So you got no reason. You're asking me because no one called you. It's just, you know what I mean?
Right.
So put it together in your head. Keep calm. Don't curse. Don't get it. Approach him before he approaches you. Walk up to him. Don't put your can down. Hold it in your hand. Act like it's a job. You know what I mean? And that's how, with the power of conviction, I've been able to sway cops to do their job.
Right.
Instead
You
of
can say fucking.
Instead of take the
This is a
time
podcast.
to bother us while
Yeah.
we're trying to increase the quality of life and also express ourselves in a positive way. We're not being aggressive. All artists, almost 98% of them, have pure intentions, positive intentions of just expressing themselves. If it's not political, religious, or drug related, it's not really going to offend people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? People are going to look at it and see what they want to see. If you want to see evil, that's what you're going to see.
Okay. Good. I thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
I
don't
have a lot
wanna
to say,
see
right?
Any evil.
So artists are really
No
passionate,
evil.
just to let you know.
I know, right?
You know?
I'm
It sounds like anger. It's really just passion.
well. Okay, so I want to tell the quick story about how you and speaking of passion, how you and I met.
Oh, funny story. So I don't. Do you want to tell it, or would you
I'll
prefer?
jump in.
You
You
prefer.
can- we
So
can-
basically, I run an art district in my neighborhood that I created by working with my neighbors. Just like I said before, painting one wall. One neighbor asked me to paint their wall. They don't donate anything as far as paint and supplies, so I asked them to donate their property, and their walls rotate bi-monthly. Like, I give people about a 4-month run time, and most of the writers are international writers who are professionals who get paid to do this, and they bless my neighborhood with free artwork, and this gives them the opportunity to diversify their portfolio by painting what they want to paint and then go abroad and tell, like, people's perspective is that
I've got something
you
in
got
Los
paid by
Angeles,
this.
and-
Somebody paid for this. This is huge. But really, it's a matter of sacrificing your own dime and your own time to diversify your portfolio so that you can better yourself in the future and not do commission work, but push the work that you want to do.
Okay.
So that's what I do in my neighborhood. And why did we? So I found you in my neighborhood with Wordsmith, of all people. And dude is an established whatever you want to call him. You know what I mean? A street writer, whatever. Don't
artist.
like him. You know what I mean? He's, stencil writers, get out of here. You're not a writer. You ain't taking any
like
risks.
keywords,
You're
so it's
posting
okay.
bills. Suck it. You know what I mean? Know your business. You know what I mean? You're not a part of our world. And I had to approach you and question you about it. And you were like, I originally.
You stormed up to
Yeah,
me.
because you're at the 7-Eleven that I talk to the owners every single day. I Snapchat with this fool. We're friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's been trying to get me to paint the front of his business for years. And because somebody, you guys, threw $200 at him, he was...
I didn't pay him.
He didn't
No,
get-
the guy who owns the building paid him,
Yeah, so...
not me.
Yeah, well, anyway, he saw...
I don't have any money.
Anything. It goes back to what I said. He saw perceived value in Wordsmith having painted his building instead of being an active part of our community.
Actually, I can tell you differently, but let's keep going to just the you and me part of it. I'll tell you.
So
what
anyway,
happened
I
for
have my
real
own
about
personal
that.
problems with
Yeah.
the actual owner and the people who rent the spot, the 7-Eleven owners. They're mad cool, but the dude who owns the building is not part of our community and doesn't have any investment in it. And until things have to do with him lining his pockets and enhancing his critical value to his property, he doesn't want to have any involvement with our neighborhood or the project that I'm doing that I would have given to him for free.
Okay, that's only minutely true because I can get his attention and make him say yes to whatever you want. But
Yeah,
we'll
you
go there.
can. But the people who have been renting the business for him for 15 years, he's not listening to them.
I know.
So inherently, he's not a part of our community.
Okay.
You know, so
I'll work
anyway,
at getting him there.
you're painting. It doesn't matter. That dude doesn't matter to me. I'll paint his building without his permission.
Okay.
And so with that said, I found you painting the front of his building, the spot I wanted to paint.
Yes.
And Wordsmith is an established, whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
in our art world. And he didn't feel he needed to say anything when I started questioning what the hell was going on.
Right, he didn't
Maura
think- yeah.
is a woman and came forward and she's, I would say you're not great with your words. So you seem
Literally
real
everyone
frazzled
is
and
laughing.
unsure of yourself when you're approached with confrontation, which
Yes,
what I was
I would
doing.
say that's
I was
accurate.
very confrontational, very angry.
Yes.
You know? So I approached her with such aggression, like, I don't want to talk to you. I shouldn't be talking to you. This motherfucker should be talking to me. He's a fucking man. He's out in my streets. I made it safe for him to fucking paint here. If I want, I'll call fucking drifters over from across the street and have you fucking vamped, son. You know what I mean? Know where you're at.
But he wasn't.
You know what
he
I mean?
was saying this to me.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
but he should have been.
I understand
And
that.
I was getting so angry because
He
the
was
dude
so
was
mad.
not saying anything,
He
and
was
he's
so
a man.
mad.
We're writers, like, man, the fuck up.
And you're
You know what
like,
I mean?
how did you get this? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
You have no right to be here. And I was like, I have every right to be here. I got permission. And you're like, this isn't your town. This is my town. And I was like, I'm here doing this because this is what my nonprofit does. And you're like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, so my perception of the matter was that I had created a safe environment for people to do their art and create art in my neighborhood, and
Yes.
I manage it. It is
Yes.
something that I do for
No,
free.
and that was the
for 6
most
years.
valid point of the
You
whole
know,
thing. That's why I was like,
That I donate my time to this, and it's just
Totally.
and people just will overlook me. You know what I
well,
mean?
what ended up happening is you and I parted for a second because
Yes.
you turned away and walked away. I think I turned away and walked away. And then I'm over there by myself going like,
What just happened?
right?
What was that?
Damn it. And then I went and I got my business card and I walked the street and found him again toward where he lives. And he was at the corner of his little area. And what did I do?
You were like, you were trying to talk to me, but I wouldn't let you speak.
Right.
And you presented me with your business card,
Right.
and I was like, fuck this, and I threw it at you. I was
No,
like,
I
don't.
threw it at you
Oh
first.
yeah, and then I was like,
I
I don't
threw
want.
the
I was like,
business
I don't want this. I don't want to know you.
Right.
Yeah. And then you know.
And I said, fine.
I
or something.
cooled down a little bit, and I came to a little bit of sense, and
But
was.
no,
and-
then I drove my car through your neighborhood.
Yeah, and you were in front of my house or some
I slowly
shit.
went to your neighborhood.
And I I was like, what? What do you want? Why
you
are you out in
walked
front of
up
my
to
house?
me,
Why are
and
you in
I
front of
looked
my
at you,
house?
and I was like, "You were mad." Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah,
You
and I
know
don't
what
want to fucking talk to you, but you forced me to talk to you, and I came to realize that your intentions are good and correct and aligned with mine. Maybe your approach is different because I'm an artist. I don't know anything about doing things the formal way, paperwork, and I especially don't like dudes like Wordsmith. So if people are going to come into my I do not cater to Los Angeles writers. I mainly cater to international writers. And what I said was true. I had made it safe for him to be out in the street. If the drifters
And
had
you have
seen
protected
him
that wall
have
ever
seen him
since.
out there with gold cans, they'd have been like, "Yo, give me your shit.
Yeah.
You're not with that dude? Give me your shit."
Yeah.
He's not going to give us a problem.
No,
fine. Because I
and-
won't pull with the gangs really isn't much that I know there's a dude that's older than them, they're OG, and it's just a matter of shit falling down the line. If they have to catch flack from that dude because I do favors for his mom,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And inherently, I'm trying to make it a safer environment for their parents and their kids and their brothers and sisters and stuff.
Which
and when
you
they
do.
take the time to talk to me and realize that stuff That's how I'm able to be successful with all the walls, with the coordination of the gangs and the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now police want to be involved with me just because they have bad press, and you know
And
what I
you get them
mean? They'll
good.
do anything to make themselves look better.
Well, I like that we've come full circle with even here in Los Angeles, the police.
Yeah, well, like I said, they want to be affiliated with me because I changed their neighborhood for free, and they get paid to do it.
There you go. All right. Well, we have scheduled that these talks are 30 minutes long, and
And
I
that
think
was
we've
longer,
done
right?
that.
Yeah.
No, by. I love it. Yay! Here, 15 seconds. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're gonna be back. We'll talk to you more about.
Yeah, I'm sure
other
I have a lot to
things.
say, right?
And okay, so we're gonna take a break, and not a break. We're gonna take a no. Okay, so that's it for this Stories in the Streets with Espy. Thank you for coming, and just yell into the mic. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate
Yay.
it.
Right?
I hope to reach, we hope to reach as many people as possible. So tell your friends.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Okay, good. That was awesome. Well played. Did you guys like that? Okay.
Hey, thanks for listening. We're really glad you tuned in. Immersed in Art was recorded 2 years ago in 2018. I'm really sorry it's taken me so long to edit these. I want to thank our sound engineer back in the day, Jacob Baumgardner. I want to thank all of the guests who have waited so long for their words to be heard. They are important, and we hope to do more. If you liked this, please subscribe, share, and also if you want to be a part of it, just send me an email, maura@offthewallgraffiti.org, or hit us up on any of the socials. And I want to do an extra special shout out to Luciano West, who created that amazing theme song. He came over to the house one day, dropped some beats. Avery McCarthy got on bass, and I got on the spray cans, and we made that beat. I think it's awesome. I hope you like it. And yeah, listen up. Let's do more of these.